Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Just Being Candid. I am your host, Candid. And on today's episode, we are talking about stress. Yes, something that we've all experienced. And if you haven't experienced stress, please put it in the comments or let me know, how do you avoid it? I want to know. But on this episode, I'm going to discuss the factors of what plays into stress and some practical methods and tips that can help alleviate your stress. Now, full disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a therapist. I'm just an everyday American who has gone on the different types of stress, and I found different ways to deal with it, and I just wanted to share this with you. So first, let's start with what is stress. And stress is pretty much the way your body responds to a challenging or a demanding situation. And sometimes your body can respond with like headaches, pimples. I know I was having a conversation with my mentor, and she was stressed with doing her budget. She has to budget like a multi-million-dollar budget for organization. She broke down in hives because it was just like so many things going on professionally and personally in her life. So your body doesn't know what to do when it's experiencing shock, aka stress. So it just attacks any area of your body. You can get back pains, you can get like a stiff neck, fatigue, just different things. But there are two types of stress. You have acute stress, which is short term. That can be like meeting deadlines and things of that nature if you work. Then you have chronic stress, which is something long term, something that's like recurring. That can be like financial issues, health issues, just something major where it's just like non-stop, where you're like, oh, where is the break? Please, could we put this on pause? And a lot of people experience stress. Like for me personally, when it came to stress and like affecting me, was sleep. When I'm like really stressed out, for me, I have a bad habit of letting it affect the way I sleep, because I think about it even when I go to bed. And I'm now, well, not now, but back then I'll be like up all night, thinking about like the things that I could have done and should have done. A perfect example is, and I don't talk about this a lot, but when my mom passed away from cancer back in 2019, I wasn't there for the hospice part of her battle with cancer. And when I decided to go visit her, because at that point I was really focusing on my career because I was stressed. In the last episode of you heard, I talked about how I betted on myself at one point. I didn't have my own apartment. Like, it was a lot of stuff. Listen to the last episode and you'll learn more about that situation. But I was really focused on my career. I had figured out what I wanted to do. I was thriving. I wanted to get promoted. So I was really focused on getting the promotion. My salary went up, so getting a new place, and my overall goal was to bring my mom to live with me and then get like, home health aid and just, take care of her and take a little less pressure off my sister. And the day I was supposed to go out to see her, she passed away on that day. And I was devastated. But after the funeral, like, I kept myself busy just so I can avoid it. But then at one point, I was stressing about like, damn, what if I would have went earlier? Or what if I would have just took time and less focus on my career and just went out to see her, and just all the coulda, woulda, shouldas, and knowing that the final outcome was going to be the final outcome. Because at the end of the day, God has his own plans and God designs your life, So that's what I was stressing. I would just really be up all night thinking about that, just thinking about all the things I could have done or I should have done. But the beautiful part of it is that I never stood up at night stressing like, oh, I wish I had a better relationship with my mother, because my mom was my best friend. So that was one thing I never had to stress about. That was one thing I never said I wish she knew I loved her, because I'm my mama's girl. She knew every day that I loved her. But that was the type of stress that I put on myself. But then we have financial stresses that some people may have, where you may be living check to check, or you may not be living check to check, but the money that you make, you may not still be able to get the things that you want, or you may make just enough where you're thinking about, oh, but I want to make this big purchase. Can I do it? And also that leads into another point of what stress is, making big purchases. You know, I have friends who are in the process of purchasing a home. I have one friend who's renting a home before she makes that big purchase, because there's just so many components to think about when you are investing in anything major: a car, a business, a property. It's just so many components where when you're actually in it, you're like, oh, I didn't think it was going to be like this. I didn't think I had to worry about this, that, and the third. So, like I said, stress, you have your big things and you have like your little things. Little things can be, for me, meeting deadlines. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. When it comes to work, I don't stress deadlines. I don't. I'm very organized. So when it comes to meeting deadlines, I'm pretty much ahead of the curve. But before I was at that point in my life, like in the very beginning of my career, I was always detail oriented. But when I came into like project management, you know, you have to be really, really detailed. You can't miss things. You have to make sure that your project management board is up to date. So I was having some errors there. And I realized, like, the less organized you are, the more you are likely to become stressed, because you're like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this. But once you create a system, you'll be a little bit more well off when it comes to stress. Now, I'm reading here, I have my laptop, and I wanted to read to you something that the American Psychological Association, a quote from them about what causes stress. So according to the American Psychological Association, money is consistently ranked as a leading source of stress. It says here, from a survey from 2022, so this is 2 years old, money is a major source of stress for 66% of adults, with 57% stating current expenses such as food and rent as their main source of money-related issues. The remaining 43% of this group state saving for the future as their main source of money-related issues. Now, I also read an article, I can't think of what it was, I should have put it in my notes, but it was saying how a majority of residents in Dallas, Texas, half of their paychecks go towards rent, and the other half is split amongst expenses and debt. And trust me, that's stress. That is stressful, because rent is up there, especially if you want to live a certain quality of lifestyle, you know, in a better neighborhood, just an overall good lifestyle. Rent is expensive. You know, so when you're making a certain amount, and also the more you make, sometimes the more you spend. Like, okay, if I'm making $5,000 a month, I'm gonna get me an apartment that's like $2,200-$2,300. Not me, but that's what someone would say. Like, oh, I'm gonna get me, and then I'll just pay every check, I'll just $2,500 aside for my rent. Then you got your utilities, and now you're really like strapped. You know, we have to live within our means, but at the same time, we still want to live good. So I completely understand how money is a factor, because, and then saving for the future is also stressful. That is something that I've put stress on myself about. So I'm now like putting my money into the stock market, purchasing different ETFs, just just to diversify the portfolio that I have. I don't have like anything crazy, but I'm just really learning how to maximize my Roth IRA. I'm reading more books, taking more free online classes just to figure out how I can increase my savings with the money that I have in my Roth account, and also understanding that it's a long-term gain. But at the same time, as I check like my trading account, my Fidelity account, I'm like, man, can one of these stocks hit already? Because I see some type of jump, but I do have to remind myself it's the long-term gain. Now, outside of financial stress, you also have like work stress. Job security is something that's big. People are being laid off, either hours are being decreased, or people don't like their jobs. Some people are just working just so they can maintain those expenses because of that financial burden that they have in their lives. So you're going to work every day to a place that you don't like. And I've been there. I worked at an organization in the past years ago where I used to cry before clocking in. Like once I got to the building, I'll go to the bathroom upstairs and I'll just be like, oh, I gotta get out of here, man. I'll be crying. And I had a coworker where me and her were talking about how we used to cry in the bathroom before we clocked in. So it could be that, it could be working multiple jobs. People can work 2 jobs, 3 jobs just to make ends meet or to cover their expenses, but then have an additional check to put in the savings account, or have an additional check to just fulfill some of their wants. So, but when you're working like 2 to 3 jobs within a week, you don't have time for yourself. You don't have time to just give your body the rest that it needs. I think a lot of people are just so used to going, go. But you understand, you do have to get to it and do things to accomplish your dreams and desires. But at the same time, you do need to understand that your body needs rest. Your body needs to be nurtured, drink water, get sleep, things of that nature. Also, another stress factor is relationship stress. That can be with family, but that can actually be a romantic relationship. I know a few people who are in relationships because they're splitting the bills, or it's just convenient, and I don't want to say they don't like or love the person that they're with, but they're at the point where they're just tolerating it until something better comes along, I guess. But also, so being with somebody that you kind of is like, should I end it? Should I not end it? Do I want to go back on the dating market? Do I want to make this work? It can work on you. It can cause stress, especially when it trickles down to like personal finances, where maybe whoever's in the relationship is going through a rough financial patch, and that person becomes moody or becomes distant. They don't want to talk about what's going on. That happens a lot in relationships, where you don't want to discuss your finances, even though that's supposed to be your partner, the person that you should trust the most. Well, to a certain degree, you should trust. You should be sharing finances with each other. So finances, work, and relationships, those are like the top 3 things that people experience stress from. Now, how does this stress impact us on a personal way. It can impact your sleep. Like I said earlier, you know, you could be stressed so much that you can't sleep because you're just constantly thinking about it. You can gain weight. You can start eating emotionally, where every time you think of the problem, it triggers you to eat. Or it can do the opposite, where you stop eating or you don't eat as much because the stress is taking away your appetite. Sometimes I wish I had that type of stress. Like, take away the appetite, Lord. You know, but that's just, you know, that's just me. But if you are that person, you know, I don't know. But also it can help you. I mean, stress can impact your focus, you know, where you should be concentrating on one thing, but it's just whatever you're going through just stays in the back of your mind, where you just slip into that problem again. Like, okay, how am I gonna fix it, when you're supposed to be focusing on the matter or the task at hand. It can also create anxiety. Anxiety is really, really big. That's me. You know, there's times with stress, I create anxiety, and I'm on the phone with my sister like, yo, I think I'm having a heart attack. I don't know what's going on. Or I'm on the phone with my cousin like, yo, I can't breathe. And she's like, get a paper bag. And I have to just like calm myself down. I normally just like go in my prayer closet, I take a couple of breaths, and I just pray. And honestly, I just pray the Our Father, or I would just say, you know, God, please relax my spirit, remove this nervous energy, remove this anxiety. I just calm myself down, so little by little. That's just what I do when I have the anxiety. And also stress, it can cause burnouts. It could give you headaches, back pains, high blood pressure. You can get sick out of nowhere. So those are how it affects us in a quote unquote negative way. Now, how do you deal with the stress? I'm glad you asked. No, but how do you deal with stress is, first you want to identify what's stressing you, you know. And once you identify what's stressing you, stop pretending that the stress isn't there. And then also ask yourself, is this something I can control, or is this situation out of my control? My favorite piece of advice that my older sister has given me to this day is, Candid, don't stress what you can't control. And it's true. The things that we can't control, you just have to put it in God's hand and let it be. You know, but the things that you can't control, you just have to get a grip on it. If it's finances, look at your budget again, you know. Or if you look at your budget, you just can't see what's going on, see if you have a friend or relative who's good at budgeting. If you don't trust them, see if there's someone out there who's affordable that can look at your budget. Join a financial club. I'm part of the Budgetistas Dream Catchers club Facebook group, you know, and that's how I was able to be around like-minded people in a virtual setting, and I learned how to do better with my money. Another way to deal with stress, one of my favorites, and I didn't learn this until like 5 years ago, do nothing. Just have a day for yourself. And I know it's easier said than done, but just give it a try. You know, you don't have to put your phone on do not disturb or whatever. I personally just put my phone on vibrate, or I leave it as is. And whoever's texting me, whoever's calling me, I don't pick up. Just because your phone rings doesn't mean you have to answer it. Just because someone texts you doesn't mean you have to answer it. If it's a day about you and you don't want to be bothered, guess what? Don't be bothered, okay? Someone's emergency isn't your urgency, all right? Unless it's a real emergency. If it's a real emergency, different story. But there's people who their emergency is not an emergency. You don't need to put out no fires, because the last time I checked, we don't have no firefighter type of certification, all right? Say that for somebody else. Have a day to yourself. Have a spa day, or you can make a spa day at home. That's what I do sometimes. I light candles. Shout out to Piece of You. candles. I like their candles. I love it. I put like from my bath water, I have like this tray where I could put like my drink and my phone. I could watch a little something, or sometimes I don't have the phone. I just play like spa music, have my speaker playing spa music, and I'm chilling. I'm in there, hot bath soaking, and I'm just like not thinking about much, you know. That's something you can do. You can go for a walk. Just anything that makes you happy and gives you the opportunity to just not think about the issues that you have going on. Just do it. You know, go to the movies, go to the park, meet up with your homegirls or homeboys, and just relax and don't talk about issues, don't talk about problems. Another thing, setting boundaries, you know, too, when it comes to like your day. So you could tell people, hey, today is a day to myself. If it's not important, don't hit me, I'll hit you. Like I said, you can work out. Therapy is also another option. You know, I'm in therapy. I've been doing therapy since 2018. It's good to just have another perspective and you can just talk. And they don't so much give you advice, but they just, as you're talking, you kind of like, are like, you know what, yeah, they'll bring up different points that you didn't think about. So therapy is also good. And lastly, give yourself grace. You know, we give people grace. Like, oh, you know what, they didn't know, I'll give them grace. You know, oh, this person cheated on me, you know what, I'm gonna take them back, give them grace. Shout out to y'all. I don't know how y'all do that. But if you can give people who don't deserve grace, why don't you do the same thing for yourself? You know, give yourself the grace that you deserve and say, it's gonna be okay. So to close this out, I just want to say, don't stress what you can't control, all right? The holidays are coming up. If you buying all these gifts for family and friends and things of that nature, and you're under that holiday stress, don't even do it to yourself. Make a plan, write out the people who you want to buy gifts for, write out exactly the budget, your Christmas budget, your holiday budget, your Thanksgiving budget. Just write it all out and take it one step at a time. You know, when it comes to your health, make sure that you are going to the doctor, checking up on yourself, making sure that everything's good, heart, head, everything, your body's good, and then just take it one day at a time. Don't stress what you can't control. I can't stress that enough. But as always, I like to close out my shows with a Bible scripture. So this is from Isaiah 41, verse 10. It says, so do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. So remember, God has you. He will always have your back, even when it doesn't seem like he's listening or there's no movement going on. When you ask him to help you get you out these situations, or ask him to remove the stress, and it's just like more stress being piled on, just remember, God is listening, okay? But he is going to pull you out of things when he's ready to get you out of things. So just know that you just need to endure the hardships, you know, but as I said, and give yourself grace. Now, before I close things out, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been supporting this podcast, Just Being Candid. Thank you for those people, everyone who has watched the first episode. The last time I checked, we was up to like 11 views. I'm very happy because that's 11 people who took time to watch it. We had a few people leave comments under the YouTube page. I had some new subscribers on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So thank you so much for subscribing. And that leads me to say, don't forget, if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It helps the channel out. If you're listening via Apple Podcasts or Spotify and you haven't done so already, hit the like button, leave a review, subscribe to the show. You know, you can follow me on Instagram at Just Being Candid, JUSTB Candid. So yeah, that's what it is. It's Just Be Candid. My apologies. Just Be Candid on Instagram. JUSTBECANDID. Until the next episode, stay blessed.